Welcome to the Can Wine Podcast, where we open cans of wine and talk about it. We are now continuing along on our Cantastic journey, which takes us into February. And as we all know, today is Super Bowl Sunday. And what are we going to pair it with? Well, we'll have that information for you shortly. And as we are continuing our Cantastic journey, this time we're heading to the west coast of the U.S., not far from Seattle, Washington, hint, hint, to Prosser, Washington. But before we can tell you about our can of the week, let's tell you about our wine nerd word of the week, which is mutation. Oh, don't be frightened. This is a natural, spontaneous genetic alteration in the DNA of a vine that causes some sort of a beneficial change. Well, that sounds like a lot of gobbledygook. Well, what kind of important changes? Well, Pinot Gris is a pink mutation of a naturally occurring Pinot Noir. So that's significant, especially when we get to our can of the week, which is a Pinot Gris. In fact, Pinot Grigio, as the 14 Hands Winery refers to it, and it is the 14 Hands Winery Pinot Grigio in the 355 ml can. For those of you that are into math, that's half of a regular bottle. It's almost the size of a traditional beer can. It's a rather large format can. I think that's really the largest one that I've seen. It always amazes me that they don't produce a 750 milliliter can. It would be easy to do, lightweight, recyclable, all the good things that cans have. But I'm digressing a little bit on that. It is in fact 12.5% alcohol by volume. A beautiful can with a picture of a horse on it, and that is a tribute, which the 14 Hands Winery is, to the wild horses of the Columbia Valley. And 14 Hands Winery is located in Prosser, Washington, and it's part of the St. Michelle's Wines Group. Zach Richardson is the winemaker, and they make wine in the Columbia Valley. Now, this can actually comes from Croton-on-Hudson at Deprez Wineries, right next to ShopRite at 454 South Riverside Drive in Croton. For anyone that's in the neighborhood, you can go down and pick it up. And it's very reasonably priced. I'm trying to think of a way to say, because it's definitely not a cheap wine. It's well made and well packaged. And they generally stock some varieties of 14 Hands. And they have a lot of good wine information there. I like to go there either while I'm shopping or waiting to pick up my takeout from right next door, which I was the other day. And kind of looked around and found this can and said, hey, this would be a perfect match with Super Bowl Sunday. So that's what I'm going to do with it. Now, 14 Hands refers to the wild horses of the Columbia Valley, and they would migrate up and down the hills, drink water at the Columbia River, and then go up and feed on the pastures there. Now, this is prehistoric times, or certainly not within the last couple thousand years, but there were once a lot of wild horses there, and they roamed around eastern Washington landscape. And Prosser is literally up the river from Seattle, where the Seahawks come out of. So if you're looking for a wine that would be a good match for the Super Bowl, I don't know what kind of wines they make in Boston. They probably do have some, maybe with a Concord grape, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But this is an award-winning wine from Washington State, and Washington State has really come into its own, producing not only a tremendous amount of wine, but tremendous quality of wine. And the 14 Hands people are into low input viticulture, and they're all certified salmon safe. So they take their winemaking environmentally seriously, and they, in my experience, have come up with a pretty decent wine. We've had their rosé as well as their hot to trot, which was a pretty good red blend. So it's a decent wine, a good to great wine, I would say. Very representative of things coming out of Washington State right now. So without any further ado, I am doing a solo episode, and I'd like to thank all the people that have helped get us this far on our Cantastic journey. We did a really great series. I think it was 5 cans during the NA, 5 NA cans during dry January, as well as a bunch of other regular wine cans during January. So that was a considerable effort, but it was well rewarded, and we had some great wines. So we hope you've enjoyed it so far. 24 is getting very close to halfway point here. We're headed towards probably some more white wines, a few more reds, just a general blend of things that we really enjoy. We have some inputs from our roving producers coming up, some in the far reaches of northern North America, and some from a little bit closer. But we'll get to that later, and then we're going to go into the rosé roundup as we get close to spring. That's going to be great. So, without any further ado, let's do what we do on the Canned Wine Podcast and open this wine and continue to talk about it. It's a very pale straw color. I'm smelling fruity notes, which you would expect on a Pinot Gris like this. Very dry, very crisp. I don't see a lot of legs on it. There's a slight sparkle to it. It's not a carbonated wine per se, but it does maybe had a little bit of carbonation added to it when it was made. Very nice. Now they say they would mix it with or pair with live music. I could see this being quite nice with at a concert. Or white meats would be good with chicken, maybe seafood or different foods with fruit elements. Maybe lemon chicken would taste good with this. Or chicken franchise. I would say this would go great with any kind of light fare. I think it'll go very well with the loaded chicken nachos that I'm having, as well as vodka pizza from Pizzeria Baci. We were helping him out. He was doing a 100% fundraiser, 27 hours of making pizza for a young girl that has terrible cancer issues. So cheers and thank you for really enjoyed it. So thank you for putting that together, and thank you as always for the excellent wine advice whenever we're in there. It's great to go in and talk wines because the people at Deep Perez really know their stuff and have an excellent selection of a lot of French wines, but a good selection from around the world of real quality stuff, and a few decent cans. So our head scratcher today is pretty straightforward. We don't want to make it too difficult for you, but it's one of those if you know, you know. And if you know what the hat is that I'm wearing, you can get yourself a really cool postcard. We have a few left. Thank you for everyone who's received them and sent in pictures of themselves holding the cans or holding cans. We always like that. In fact, if you send me a picture of you holding a can of wine through Instagram or somehow on YouTube, or I can send you a place to direct message, I will send you a postcard. And if you answer, what is the logo on my hat and what is the significance of it, I will also send you a postcard. So thanks again to everyone who's been getting those cans. In closing, we'd like to thank you for tuning into the Canned Wine Podcast. Hope you learned a little bit about wine today and hope you enjoyed drinking it responsibly. And by that we mean just because it comes in a can doesn't mean you can drink and drive. The Canned Wine Podcast is a center stage production, all rights reserved. And let's see who wins the Super Bowl.